Hello and happy Monday, everyone. Nick Marro here with DFS Jayhawk, as always, to help you break down tonight's NBA DFS main slates on both DraftKings and FanDuel. Pretty crazy slate tonight. Different between the two sites, which is worth mentioning. FanDuel has the two 10 o'clock games Milwaukee at the Suns, Celtics at the Kings, and those are FanDuel only. We'll go through all these games game by game. But yeah, a lot of moving parts right now. Some news we're waiting on, few surprising names back today, and a lot of guys that are already ruled out. So, Jayhawk, what's your initial take on this one?
Yeah, on slate today, kind of talked pre-stream. New Orleans kind of looks like the super chalky team, but Denver, Chicago, another game that I think is super intriguing for fantasy purposes. So, yeah, fun slate today. Excited to break this down.
Yeah, man, a lot of places to look. New Orleans definitely standing out. Philly, another one as well. No Quentin Grimes, who's kind of been a beast there. So yeah, and Anthony Davis surprisingly coming back tonight for God knows why, but he's here and he's available. So we'll get into this breakdown. First, going to take a quick look at chat here. Shouts out to Ben Jizzy. Appreciate you being in here. Van Negro Jones, like Arnold. He'll be back. He is back. Carmen, let's get ready to rumble. Indeed. Heath, appreciate you, brother. Carmen as well. Feels like a Monday. Yeah, man, I am tired today, not going to lie. We'll get through it, though. I appreciate you guys being here, keeping us motivated. And Jose, got to start out quick. Assuming that Matherin starts, we want to play Bancheros and Matherin or Wagner and McDaniels. Coming out of the gate firing with that one there, Jose. So Matherin starts. He's been an absolute beast. Um, and yeah, with everyone healthy, I think I'm leaning the first pair there, Banchero and Matherin. But we do need to kind of keep an eye on Minnesota. Anthony Edwards is a game time decision. So for now, the first one, Jose. But by the time we get to that game, maybe we'll get more news. Let's get into the game by game, though. We got three games at 7 o'clock. First one, we have the Lakers taking on the Orlando Magic. Rui Hachimura should be probable or should be available tonight. LeBron listed as probable as well. No Maxi Kleber. Bronny had a good game, but he's back down with the G League. Not that that matters too much. So yeah, it's interesting, man. We got Luca towards the top of the model. Only behind Giannis, but if we're talking about DK, Luca is still the top play on the board, even with LeBron available. That's a little bit surprising to me, especially since they're playing New Orleans, or not New Orleans, excuse me, Orlando. Obviously, a slower team that plays pretty good defense. I mean, they're healthy. I think you can make a case for both Luca and LeBron here. Other than that, I think they're pretty tough to get to. I will say Jackson Hayes been kind of a favorite tournament play of mine lately. I just think we have too many good centers on this slate to really make him a priority. But he looks great in that pick and roll with Luca. I think whenever Luca's healthy and he's starting, I'll continue to get some shares there. But 215 point total, pretty healthy team too. So everyone kind of priced where they should be. I don't know. I can see taking shots on Luca. There's certainly enough value to get there. LeBron on FanDuel, only 9,700. Makes some sense over there. But I just can't really call any of these Lakers priorities, man. How about you?
Yep, I'm pretty much on the same page here. Pretty much fully healthy here for the Lakers, like you mentioned. Tough spot, lower total for this game overall. I think my favorite would probably be LeBron here on both sides, like you mentioned, but I agree. None of them are priorities to me, and they all seem like properly priced here overall. So for the most part, I think they're fine all in tournaments, but none of them stand out heavily to me.
Yeah, again, if you could find the salary, and I think you will be able to get to Luca pretty easily today. I don't mind it at all. Obviously, LeBron, a little bit of a discount. He looks good as well. No minutes cap on LeBron, which is obviously very important. And the model does agree with the Hayes call, so I like to see that. 4,900 on both sides. There's certainly opportunity cost of playing him at center, but if you don't want to take a risk on some of the other centers we're going to talk about, I do think Hayes is a decent pivot. But let's not spend too much time on the Lakers again. On these slates late in the season, if a team's healthy, usually that's not where we're going to be finding many priorities. On the Orlando side of things, a little bit more banged up than the Lakers are. Still tough to get too excited about them here. No Cole Anthony. Jalen Suggs obviously still out. No Mo Wagner either. Seen a lot of ownership going to both Paulo and Franz, which has kind of been a trend we've been seeing over the past few weeks. They've both been really solid. Paulo, obviously, the higher ceiling. You get Franz for a bit of a discount. He's shown he can compete in terms of upside. But yeah, I think if you can fit Paulo, you got to feel good about it. If you can't quite get there, Franz looks pretty damn solid here as well. Those are the two that stand out. Wendell Carter's been impossible to get a read on. Like this guy's ceiling is massive. He's certainly underpriced on DK for that upside. But we have seen games where he just isn't involved or he just doesn't really show up. So it's tough for me to trust him. I don't mind the wings being Wagner, Bonchero. Even with Cole Anthony out, I don't think I have much interest in the likes of Corey Joseph here. If you are 150 baxer, though, you could mix him in. But we're going to talk through some really solid guard value. He's kind of down the list for me. You could throw Anthony Black in that group as well as like a last pizza in for value. But again, guard value is loaded today. We're about to get to those pieces in some of these other games. But yeah, wouldn't talk anyone playing Boncaro or Wagner. Probably wouldn't want them in the same lineup. At the same time, even with the high ownership, I don't know that I'm calling either a true priority for me. But Jayhawk, how about you? You get to much Orlando?
Yeah, so contrary to the Lakers here, I think Orlando looked super good. I know Franz and Paula have been super chalky, like you mentioned, past few slates. I think they both look great here. I
Yeah.
typically am a Paulo fan, but I do love this spot for Franz tonight. 8,900. He got into foul trouble last game, but I think he probably can avoid that. So love both these guys in tournaments. I do prefer Franz just slightly for the ownership. And then you mentioned that Wendell has been very boom bust. I think at 5,100, this is a spot I do like against Hayes. So I definitely like mixing him in as well in tournaments.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, I do slightly prefer the Hayes side if I'm picking between the two of them, but it's pretty much the same play on paper if we're talking about game theory. And yeah, to your point, Franz foul trouble last game, had 36% usage rate against Washington, got to 40 fantasy points in just 24 minutes. So I always sit here and say I think Bonchero is the higher ceiling, but realistically, I mean, Franz can get there too. So no argument with getting to either of those guys. But again, one of the only uh, two or three plays that I'm really interested in Orlando. It's just tough to trust the rest of this rotation right now. Quickly get chat here. We'll continue to work through these 7 o'clock games. Told people that my little cousin Dalton was going to ball out. It's safe to run him back. Yeah, man. Shouts out. Definitely tonight with Grimes out. We're about to talk about that game. He looks really good. All in the family, man. Definitely cool that you're related to him. Mike saying, do we like Edwards here? I know I can say yes right off the bat. Jayhawk, I'm imagining you're getting some Justin Edwards as well, right?
Oh, for sure. One of my favorite plays today.
Nice, man. Yeah, we'll get to Philly in a minute. Unicorn here, appreciate it. What are your favorite plays, single entry GPPs on DK? Eli, we're going through the game by game right now. So it's kind of tough to answer this early. I mean, Jayhawk, do you have anything sneaky that's standing out to you right now? Again, going game by game, I don't know that I can give kind of the overall. At the end of the show, we will do a dummy build on DK and kind of talk through some of these strategies. But good question, Eli, for sure.
Yeah, I think for me the biggest like leverage, I feel like it's just kind of with the Denver guys. I don't think anyone like knows who they want to roster tonight. Jamal's the chalkiest, but I think we could have some value here with guys like MPJ and Gordon. So that's kind of like where I'm leaning, but that's just right now.
Yeah, Gordon's been a beast, especially. Obviously, if Jordan's going to start at the five again, that does cut into his upside a bit, but I do think Aaron Gordon's someone who's under-owned. Don saying, fellas, appreciate you being here, man. Mr. Torian, sup, guys? Better to play higher end SE or the 400K multiple entries? Higher end SE, in my opinion. If you're entering a contest where the pros or the best players can play 150 lineups and you're not playing 150 lineups, usually that's minus EV. You can get away with it once in a while, especially this time of the season where the contests get smaller. But I know tonight I'm just playing single entries. I got something the 12, the 5, the $3 on DK. I think I have one or two in like the big tournament on FanDuel just to get some exposure there for the sake of the show. But strategically, you want to be maxing these contests. So even if they're one or three max, get those lineups in. But yeah, if you want to chase that top, just know it's very hard because you're competing with guys with 150 lineups. So I hope that answers that. Give this one to you, Jayhawk. Do you think Murray from Denver is playing 3 games in 4 days? I think he is. He's not on the injury report, but it is a good question.
Yeah, he should be good to go here. Yeah, he was listed as questionable I think a couple days ago, but he should be good to go tonight.
Yeah, he is. Correct myself. He is technically on the injury report, but he's listed as probable. So
Yeah.
all indications are he should be good to go. Nuke here, thinking about signing up. How quickly does Occupy start? Update starting lineups. Need optimizer for MLB coming up. Yeah, Nuke for MLB. As soon as they come out, the model does update in real time. So like if an NBA lineup comes out, I'd say like 5 to 10 minutes to see the adjustments made in the model. Um, So yeah, very, very quick. And if you're ever having issues, you could reach out to the team in Discord too. They can expedite things. But I know for MLB, we're always on top of it. We get those lineups well before lock. It's very rare that we have any issues with that. But let's get into the rest of these 7 o'clock games. We got two more, then I will get back to chat. So feel free to get your questions in. We got Minnesota taking on the Indiana Pacers. Big news here for Minnesota. Anthony Edwards is a game time decision listed as questionable with a right thumb laceration. Sounds like something I think he should be able to play through. I guess we'll wait and see, though. Other than that, really no significant injuries for the Timberwolves. If Ant's in, I like the spot for him. Clearly high upside here. One of the teams that is getting healthier, though, so again, when we're talking about these late season slates, teams that are healthy, usually not going to find a ton of value there. Like you could make a case for Randall, McDaniels, even Gobert, Nas. Conley probably gets the start at point guard. DiVincenzo's been fine off the bench, but nothing here is really a priority for me. If Edwards were to be out, that would boost the upside for pretty much everyone, but mostly Randall, I think. And then, yeah, maybe DiVincenzo or Alexander Walker get the start. So something to keep an eye on. But it's a thumb laceration. Edwards is a gamer, man. I'd be surprised if he doesn't play here. But we do have to wait and see. But what's your hunch on Ant? And then kind of follow that up with your take on the Timberwolves.
Yeah, so just a cut on his hand, at least that's what they say. So I think he should be able to go here. I do want to note, I think they play KD and Phoenix, I think next game. So maybe there's a chance he could sit out in order to play his guy he looked up to, Kevin Durant, later. But yeah, assuming he does play here through this cut, I think he looks great on both sides. 9,500 and 9,300. Not the best total, 228, but I still think it's a great spot. So definitely like mixing in Ants alongside Paulo and Franz here in the expensive tier. So yeah, I think he looks great. And then if he misses, I think we have to bump guys like Nas and McDaniels and Randall, all three of those guys. So yeah, that's kind of my take here with Ant.
Yeah, I think DiVincenzo too. Even if he came off the bench with Ant out, he'd probably take up a lot of usage. But again, I think we have to assume he's in. It's Anthony Edwards, not a guy who likes to sit out. But to your point, yeah, maybe on the back to back, we'll keep an eye on it. The good news is it is one of the early games. We will have that news prior to lock, so we should be able to talk through that if we do get that news while we're still on stream. On the Pacers side of things, taking a look at their injury reports. Mathurin's available. Nothing else really significant. No Isaiah Jackson. He's been out forever. Quentin Jackson probable. He's been up from the G League. Not really part of the rotation. Ali looks pretty good here. A little bit too cheap, I think, for what he's capable of. Again, though, one of these teams that's healthier than they have been, so just kind of tough to pluck value. It's a bit of a pace up spot for Minnesota, kind of a pace down for the Pacers. So I think they're even tougher to get to in this game. But yeah, nothing really standing out to me, man. Mathurin probably goes back to the bench with Nemhard, Naismith healthy. Yeah, they're fine. I mean, you can play the starters. I don't think I'm going to get there, though. How about you?
Yeah, so Indiana here, they're definitely interesting. Hallie's the chalkiest here. I'm not like I don't love him in the spot. Just not my favorite matchup here for Hallie. So he's fine. I'll probably be like half the field, but yeah, I just don't love the spot. And then you mentioned it with Matherin likely on the bench here. I don't know. It's difficult. Like all these guys should be like in a good spot on paper, but I don't see it for their prices. So for me, I'm gonna probably be underweight to this team overall.
Yeah, and I think I answered it two for two when we started. Probably don't play the Matherin side. Just second, kind of reviewing my own answer, just because if he's coming off the bench, like his minutes haven't been the same as a starter. We only have him for 24 here, which I think is a pretty accurate projection. He's kind of priced up as the starter, so not a good spot for Matherin. Again, assuming he does move back to the bench with this team getting healthy. Hallie missed a few games. Again, just when these teams get healthy, tough to find value. One more 7 o'clock game, though, then we will take a look at chat once again. We got the Toronto Raptors and the Washington Wizards. So two bad teams, but a healthy 227.5 point total. Starting on the Toronto side of things, RJ Barrett's going to be out. Chris Boucher, Grady Dick, Brandon Ingram, Jared Roden. So, yeah, there is a lot of extra value to go around here. They've been kind of tricky in terms of their minutes. Like, if a guy's playing really well, it seems like he may just get benched out of nowhere. We're projecting no one for over 30 minutes here, which makes it kind of tricky because it is such an appealing matchup. You think this would be a spot that we'd want to get to. Um, I think Quickly's fine. I just think he's a little bit too cheap for his upside. He has been playing 30 minutes consistently, which is more than can be said for the rest of this team. And then, yeah, I think Jacoby Walter might be my second favorite, but at the same time, the model not loving him. He does rate as one of the better FanDuel value plays on DK. Following Jakob, he's third. So, yeah, I don't think it's crazy to get to him even coming off the bench. But, yeah, I know Castleton was a thing the other night. He's going to move to the bench with Podol available. Podol himself looks okay. I just don't know that we can project him for too many minutes. We have him at 24, which might even be on the low end. But, yeah, just tough to feel good about this team. Really deep bench. Not that they're a bunch of great players. It's just enough to kind of hurt the starters, guys like Barnes. But I do think Quickly is a decent bet to play 30 minutes. He's the one I'm pretty interested in. Like I said, I don't mind mixing in Walter. Podol's okay, but I don't know. I don't got a good feeling about him tonight, man. How are you feeling about Toronto?
Yeah, so exactly on the same page here. I have Quickly, Pirtle, and Walter. I'm mixing in all three of those guys. No one else really here from Toronto. Um, I think my favorite would be Pirtle here, 8%. Great matchup against Alexander Sar. So I think they're all in play. None of them like stick out to me heavily. So probably my favorite here is Pirtle, but I do like that Walter call. Low owned, this is the guy that I always like playing, especially when his teammates are out. So I do like that call a lot as well.
Yeah, I mean, he takes a lot of shots, which we obviously love to see. Around a 25% usage rate when he is on the floor. So even in limited minutes, he's been consistently around 25 fantasy points, which is kind of what you're looking for at his price. So I like that too. Definitely more of a tournament play, assuming he is coming off the bench. Over on the Wizard side of things, they've been kind of tricky too. No Sadiq Bey, Brogdon, Koulibaly, or Kispert. Marcus Smart is available. How many minutes will he play? I don't know. Some nights they let him run, some nights they don't. Chris Middleton's back though. I think he was out last game, and yeah, everyone wanted to play Vucevic, but he was a DNP out of nowhere. No one really saw that coming. Actually, he wasn't a DNP. He got 3 minutes in the blowout. So if you bet any of his props, you got screwed in that way. But yeah, man, I don't mind Sar. He's been super talented, or he's looked good when he's on the floor in terms of fantasy point per minute rating. It's just the minutes for him have been inconsistent. Kaishan George, fine. Again, just not a guy I can really project his minutes with any sort of confidence. Another team where we have no one projected over 30 minutes, which just kind of makes him tough to get to, which is unfortunate because, again, this is a great matchup. This should be a good game environment. So, yeah, you can make a case for the young guys, George Carrington, Sar. Pool's been pretty bad lately. I think there's other guards I want to get to. But, yeah, with Middleton back, it kind of takes guys like Champagne and Johnson out of the consideration for me. I guess Sar, if anything, here more so on FanDuel where he does have power forward eligibility. But I'd be lying if I didn't say I wasn't a little bit concerned about his minutes. Are you getting too many Wizards?
Yeah, so pretty much just Alexander Sar here for me. Fit or 6,400 does seem like insane as a price point, but he's been super good, and it's a good matchup here for Sar as well, like you noted. So I'm mixing in some Sar. I do have him projected to hit value, and then the rest of the team here, I just with all these guys back, I don't love here Washington. So it's mainly just Sar, and then pretty much fading the rest of the Wizards here.
Yeah, I will say the model likes Marcus Smart. We have him at only 20 minutes. So there is a world where he's a good play. If you're playing 150, maybe get a couple percent. It doesn't take much to get over the field. But again, they're just randomly DMPing guys off the bench. So if someone's not starting, definitely proceed with some caution on that one. So those are the three 7 o'clock games. We're about to get into the 7:30 window. Let's see here. Question on Wagner or Paolo. Who would you take in SE? Don, it sounds like Jayhawks on Wagner. I slightly prefer Paulo, but I think it kind of depends on what you're doing with the leftover salary. If we're looking at the model, Paulo is about a point better, but Franz is slightly better in terms of value. So to answer that, it kind of depends what you're doing with the leftover salary. If that's not an issue, I think I slightly prefer Paulo. There's not a huge gap in ownership. Jayhawk, feel free to touch on that too, though, man. I think they're both really solid. It's just like, how does your lineup kind of build around them? If you could do something great with that extra salary, go Franz. But if not, I do like Paulo a lot.
Yeah, I think Paulo's probably your safer play. I just like Franz. I think they're both great, but I did like the ownership discount on Franz, at least on DraftKings.
Yep, I'm with you. With AD in, does that change the slate? I'm not getting to him much first game back. I think he's going to play limited minutes.
Yep.
Um, I don't even know that he's in the model yet, though. Oh yeah, we got him in here for just 24 minutes. So yeah, not paying over 10K for a guy playing 24 minutes. But yeah, Don, maybe we get word he's not going to be limited. We'll talk through that when we get to that game. Landon here, appreciate you, man. Minutes projection for Robinson Earl. Taking a quick look here for you, Jose. We get him at 25. Rating is okay value. Not really a priority for that team, though, but we'll talk deep through that rotation in a minute. Do we like Anthony Black with Cole Anthony out? He's okay, Mike. Very risky, though, off the bench. If Corey Joseph is playing well, it would definitely cut into his minutes. And some of the good Anthony Black games have actually come without KCP this year. He's going to be in and available. I'm not getting to him much. If you're playing 150, though, I think he's fine to mix in. Jayhawk, any love for Anthony Black?
I wasn't getting much at all in my first runs, but I think, yeah, I'm not a huge fan with, especially all these other good New Orleans plays.
Yep, I'm with you. Brandon Williams in. Shouts out power. Landon saying if Gordon sits, is it safe to play Westbrook and Murray together? Yeah, I almost think it is anyway, just because of the matchup. But we'll talk through that game in a minute. Obviously, if Gordon's out, you can feel better about jamming extra Nuggets. Wizards are all over the place with lineups taking Colby Jones if he gets 20 plus minutes. Yeah, I'm with you, Van Negro. It's just a big if, right? Colby Jones has looked good. Just man, this bench is as long as any. Like we're talking about teams on the slate with 9 players. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10 players on the bench. So they got 15 players traveling with the team right now. Makes them really tough to project. But if you got a hunch or you know something as a Wizards fan, go ahead and chase it. Don, thank you for being here, man. Always happy to answer the questions. But let's get into the 7:30 window here. We get the Mavericks taking on my Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, questions about Dallas. AD is going to be back tonight. Obviously, that is important. Still listed as questionable in the injury report. It sounds like he is going to play, though. No Exum, Gafford, Kyrie, obviously. Derek Lively, MP is still out. Caleb Barton and Brandon Williams is in. He had been listed as probable. So going over to Dallas here, it's not the worst matchup against Brooklyn. The issue is with AD coming back. When he's on the floor, he's going to take up all the usage, and he is priced at a point where we kind of want to play in close to 30 minutes to want to pay this tag, in my opinion. So guys like Washington and Najee Marshall, who have been good, are now overpriced because they're sharing the floor with Anthony Davis. In the backcourt, I mean, Dinwiddie spiked the ceiling. We've seen Brandon Williams have some really solid games. But yeah, you have to think maybe their upside comes down a bit. This is kind of a revenge game, maybe, for Spence. We have a love-hate relationship with Dinwiddie as Brooklyn Net fans, but I don't know. If you're really looking for a reason to play him, I don't think it's crazy, assuming he starts. We could see Williams get the nod, but it has been Dinwiddie more often lately. But yeah, man, for me, just not a team I'm excited to get to, mostly because AD's back. And if AD's not going to get his regular minutes, I know I can't pay 10K plus for him. But are you getting to any Dallas here?
Yeah, so wasn't really getting much Dallas at all. AD is in and limited, but you mentioned it. All these guys probably just priced up too high with even AD back limited here. So I think if I had to pick one, it would be Dinwiddie. But even him, he's priced up as well. So I think for the most part, I'm probably going to be avoiding these guys, at least on DraftKings at their prices.
Yep. And Power just brought it up. I just saw it as well. 80 will have a minutes restriction per Jason Kidd. What that restriction will be is yet to be seen. I mean, if it's 33 minutes, you could probably still play him, but we have him for 24. I think that's conservative, and I think there are enough good pay ups on this slate that you don't have to feel too bad about not getting to AD. Maybe I eat my words on that, but I don't see why they'd really push him here. Over on the net side, definitely dealing with some injuries. Reese Beekman is out. Tosan, Melton, D'Angelo Russell, Cam Thomas, Dariq Whitehead all out. Zaire Williams is in and available. But yeah, if you notice, I listed a lot of point guards, right? So Keon Johnson should get the nod here at the point. There was a time where I was telling everyone just don't play him when he's starting at the one, but he has looked better there given those opportunities lately. I don't think it's crazy to play Keon Johnson at the same time. He's definitely not something you want to be prioritizing. If Tyrese Martin starts at the two, I do think he's a decent value play. Just very scoring dependent, boomer bust. We're about to talk about the Pelicans and the Sixers. I think there's better value around the same price there. But again, if you're playing 150, looking for pivots, it's not crazy. crazy. Zaire Williams has had some really solid games lately. You could mix him into your player pool, but again, I think there's a lot of guys to like in these price ranges compared to some of these Brooklyn plays. Cam Johnson, the one guy who we have over 30 minutes, he's been pretty solid lately. Kind of priced to a point where even if he is playing 30 plus, he's gonna need a shot to fall to get there. I don't mind mixing him in. The field is getting to him, kind of surprisingly, in my opinion. I don't mind it, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and say I want to get into a ton of him. I wouldn't talk someone off playing him, and then Nick Claxton does seem too cheap for his upside. Um, Historically, actually does well when he's up against a premier center. So AD being in obviously hurts him in terms of the matchup defensively, but usually Claxton is more engaged in these types of matchups. I don't mind getting to a little bit. I do think they're better center plays on the slate. Cam Johnson probably the one I'd be comfortable with, quote unquote, and even that's a bit of a stretch. Jayhawk, any love for the Nets here?
Yeah, so usually I would not be this intrigued, but I think like two guys in particular I kind of like here in tournaments. I do want to hear your thoughts as well. Nick Claxton and Trendon Watford, I do have projected to hit at least value here. I think it's both a good spot here for them as well. Obviously, Dallas has just not been good. AD is back here, but I still don't think AD is that great defensively. So I'm mixing in both Watford and Claxton. And then everyone else I think is fine. Like if you want to get to the rest of the team here, they're fine. Like Cam Johnson, I think he's solid, but I do think he's slightly overowned. So it's mainly just the bigs here. Did you have a different take than me though?
No, I mean, I'm with you. The thing with Watford is he's going to be capped around 22 minutes. I know he can spike the ceiling. And, like, as I say that, he did just play 30 against Indy. But, like, if you're looking at the game logs, I do think that's kind of an outlier. Um, but, yeah, man, I wouldn't talk you off playing Watford. I just think there's a lot of volatility in his minutes. So, good tournament play for sure, but risky. And then I feel the same about Claxton. I think he gets the 30 minutes. It's just probably not more than that. So these guys' ceilings seem somewhat capped, but if you're looking for value at forward, I do think Watford's someone you can mix in. I honestly feel a little bit better about him than Claxton, which may be stupid. But again, just for like 1K cheaper, I don't know. He's been really solid points per minute. So I wouldn't talk you off either. Probably wouldn't want him in the same lineup. But again, they're definitely more like large field type plays. High upside, but low floors for sure.
Yep, I do prefer Watford to Claxton as well. I agree.
Nice, man. Good to hear. So moving into the 8 o'clock window, then we'll get back to chat, guys. We got a very important game here between the Philadelphia 76ers and the New Orleans Pelicans. Not important for anything in the real world, but as far as DFS and fantasy is concerned, one of the more intriguing games on the slate. Starting with Philadelphia. Got to catch my breath here. We have no Drummonds, no Embiid, no Paul George, Eric Gordon, Quentin Grimes, Kyle Lowry, Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, Kelly Oubre, and Lonnie Walker. All these guys are out. Adam Bona, he's been out for a while. He is probable. So we got to keep an eye on this. And yeah, Yabusele, I thought would be on the injury report. He is not. So we got to keep it on the starting lineup here. The projected lineup I'm seeing right now is Doughton, Butler, Edwards, Okiki, Yabusele. We got some of the Council family, I think. Or is it Doughton or Council who you're related to there, Van Negro? I'm going to
That
scroll up to see. Downton. Okay, yeah, so Downton actually is probably going to get the start at the point. Let's check the model first. So DK value loves Okiki and Down. Those are kind of the two plays standing out. When you look at the ownership, though, really nobody playing Okiki. There is a world where he comes off the bench, in which case I wouldn't feel great about these 31 minutes because with Bona back, they could slide Yabu to the 4 and start Bona at the 5, in which case Bona would very quickly become a play we probably want to get to. But as it stands, if Okiki starts, one of my favorite tournament plays on the slate. I know someone asked that earlier, just not getting enough love as a starter if we have him at 30 minutes. Speaking on Downton, he's been solid. Some risk, obviously, young player, but the upside's there in this matchup. I like him. We've seen him spike the ceiling. The minutes have not been consistent for him. We have him at 28, which is a little bit aggressive even as the starter, but this is a pretty short bench. So I'm fine mixing him in. Edwards, to me, is the safest. And it's funny, the model doesn't really like him that much where he's priced, but he's been a beast lately, man. And I think he's going to continue to produce at a high level given the increased usage. He played 38 and 39 minutes his last two games, respectively. Looking into his game logs, I mean, I don't know. It does seem like usually he's kind of rested a bit in these back to backs. Like he'll get a few less minutes, but I think regardless, he's probably going to be one of the better plays on this team. So we have him at 35 minutes. If that's going to hold, I think he's pretty safe here. Definitely better on DK than over on FanDuel where he's about 1K more. But I do think the model may be a little lower on them or on him than they should be. At the same time, I mean, we always say just trust the model. So maybe a reason to come off Edwards. But yeah, I like Okiki a lot. I would feel much better about him if he's starting though. Doughton looks really good. Jared Butler is interesting. He's been kind of inconsistent. I don't know that I love him here, even with the increased minutes, because the price is up. Really talented kid, just hasn't had the same usage rate that he did with Washington, even in limited minutes. So yeah, I'm not crazy about it. You could get to Council off the bench, and I'm talking about every player on this team because I think it's important. They did sign Marcus Bagley. I thought it was Marvin Bagley. Was it Marcus or Marvin? I don't know. One of the Bagleys is on this Philly team now. One side I'm looking at says Marcus. I thought it was Marvin. Doesn't really matter. You're not playing him either way, but that does cut into the minutes for some of these bench guys. But who's safe here? I would say Downton. I would say Okiki if he starts. I would say Edwards. Those are the three. And then we got to keep an eye on the rest of the starting lineup. But yeah, a very important team. The field is getting there. Funnily, though, they're getting to Council the most, who I think might come off the bench. So maybe he's overowned. I know I'm rambling, Jayhawk. Take it from me, though. How you handling the 76ers?
No, I mean, I get you, man. Philadelphia, what a crapshoot they've been this year, with who's starting and who's not. So I think it all, like you mentioned, determines who starts here. I think Dowdin or Dowden, either way, I think he looks like one of the best plays on the slate at his ownership on both sides. And then I do love Justin Edwards, like you mentioned. I think he's safer than Council. Should get safer minutes. And then if Council does start, I do have a hefty chunk of him as of right now, but I could easily come off of that if he doesn't start here. So that'll depend on if he starts. And then I really do like the Chuma Cole. He's been bowling for Philly, and I know Bona's back, but if he does start, he should have safer minutes. So I think Philly looks awesome here. I think this game overall, we'll get to the New Orleans side, just looks super good.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is we do have a lot of pieces in this New Orleans side that we can kind of pivot off of. And if you're building with a lot of Philly, again, just keep an eye on the starting lineup. You should have ways to kind of mix things up and fix them if the starting lineup isn't what you might expect it to be. Again, we'll talk through that a little bit. Hopefully, we get that lineup before the end of stream so we can really kind of hammer in on which plays we want. But yeah, New Orleans side, going to take another breath here to get through this injury report. No Zion, no Brandon Boston, Bruce Brown, Herbert Jones, CJ McCollum, Trey Murphy, or DeJounte Murray. Yves Missy is questionable. I'm kind of thinking he plays. So assuming he's in and he starts, he does look really good. We got a question about Robinson Earl earlier. If Missy were out, Robinson Earl would become a much more appealing play. If Missy's in, don't have much interest. The core plays here are definitely going to be Alvarado first and foremost. Likely starting at point guard. He's been excellent. Over 50% owned on both sites though. So yeah, keep that in mind. Maybe a spot to get different in tournaments if you can. But on paper, the model loves him. I mean, I don't want to talk anyone off playing him. Kelly O probably starting here at the 4, regardless of whether Missy's in or not. He looks fine. Hawkins at the 2, scoring dependent, but he's going to be taking a ton of shots. As long as he gets to 30 minutes we have him projected for, I think he's an excellent option. And then, yeah, man, we got Matkovic in the projected starting lineup. It's been a while since we got back to him. He hasn't played 23 minutes, which is what we're projecting him for in over a week. But I think if he does, he's going to look like a really solid play as well. So, again, I know I'm rambling talking about this team. It's because they could go so many different ways with the starting lineup. I do think Alvarado, Hawkins, Olynyk are kind of your safe place no matter what. But keep an eye on things. If Missy's out, feel a little bit better about Matkovic. Robinson Earl maybe becomes a thing. If Missy's in, you could get to him. Probably capped around 26 minutes, though, so just keep that in mind. But Pels and Sixers, definitely a spot we're getting to. How are you going to handle the New Orleans side, JR?
Yeah, so just to cover Missy, we did just get a game time decision notification, but we'll have to see what happens there. I do agree. I think he probably tries to play here, but we'll monitor that. Yeah, I mean New Orleans here, Chalky's team on the slate. I think Alvarado and Hawkins, obviously the two safest plays, and then I'm currently double the field on Kelly O. I just think he should be able to get pretty safe minutes here. Model is kind of neutral on him, so I think he's pretty solid. And then it will come down to the centers here if Missy doesn't play. I do like that JRE call, 2% owned if Missy does miss, could see Jerry get a bunch of minutes here. So yeah, just gonna probably monitor his news to determine who I want to play here between the other bigs.
Yep, I'm with you, man. As far as the bench goes, I mean, I don't know. Nothing else really standing out unless some of these other guys were to be ruled out. Um, yeah, like really not a single name that I want to talk through too much. Getting to the 9 o'clock game here, we got another important one between the Bulls and the Nuggets. I believe this is the last game on the DK slate. We got two more on FanDuel. We'll get to those quickly as well. Starting on the Bulls side, though, no Lonzo, Ao, Trey Jones. Those are the three that are out for Chicago. Giddy has been an absolute monster with this team. I remember when they made the Caruso trade last year. Me and a couple of my buddies were like, "What are the Bulls thinking, dude? Keep Caruso." Obviously, now that looks absolutely hilarious. Giddy has been a monster since Zach LaVine's been out of this picture here. He looks great. I do think Kobe White's a little bit overpriced now with Giddy being back. That price increase for Kobe kind of came with Giddy out. But Vooch, to me, is still underpriced. I'm kind of surprised he's not more popular in a slate where centers, we got options, but they're all kind of iffy. So Giddy, kind of a core play here. The price is kind of scary, but at the same time, I like him a lot. Not crazy about Kobe White at his price. I do like Vooch, though. Fine mixing in some Herder. Those are really the only guys for Chicago I like too much. Again, they're kind of healthy, but I'm fine overpaying for Giddy. But the field is getting there as well. I think Vooch is kind of the best tournament play here. Jayhawk, how are you going to handle the Bulls?
Yeah, man, Chicago, what is going on? They are coming off what 140-point real game beating the Lakers. That was crazy, but yeah, Josh Giddey, I think he almost had a quadruple double the other
Yep.
night. Just absolutely insane. Yeah, you mentioned it. I think he's by far the safest play here. 9,100 seems insane, but he's just been incredible. So love him on both sides. And then Vucevic as well. You nailed it. Center is good tonight, but I don't think it's like super, super good. So I do like mixing Vuce in as well. He's been playing around 30 minutes, but no Jokic here. He should be able to nuke here in his minutes. And then I agree. Kobe White does seem overpriced. I have like 10%, so I'm slightly under, but it's mainly Giddey and Vuce here, and I think they both look super, super good here in tournaments, man.
Yep, totally with you. And I do think I need to bring up Uzella's coming off a 30 point performance. Feels not really getting there. I don't know. Feels a little chasey to me. Like in the past, this is a spot where the field would look and get to him, but he's no one's playing him. So if you want to mix in Bazelis, maybe hope he catches lightning in a bottle twice. You can go back to him. For me, not something I'm excited to get to though. We got to talk about the Denver side here. Got to kind of pick up the speed on my end. A couple games left to talk about, but obviously no Jokic. That's super significant. Murray now probable. I think he was questionable earlier in the day. Aaron Gordon is questionable now though, and Christian Brown is probable. No Julian Strother, not that that's super significant. So obviously, with Jokic out, all the key contributors are going to look very appealing. It's important to talk about the center spot, though. So for a lot of these games with Jokic out against smaller teams, we've seen them go to Gordon at the 5, just slide Watson into the 4 and kind of run things that way. But yeah, last time out, who did they play? Houston against Sengun. They said, you know what, let's get Jordan out there, leave him on the floor. Guy played 38 minutes and absolutely crushed. So if Jordan's going to start again, I think he's too cheap. The model isolates him as I think one of the best value plays on the entire slate. And him being DeAndre Jordan, the field doesn't really want to get to him, even coming off an awesome game. So if Jordan starts, I like him. If he doesn't, I'm just not going to play him at all. Aaron Gordon, I think, is a good play either way. He's better if he starts at the 5. He'd kind of become a core play for me. But at the same time, I think he's solid regardless. Murray looks good. He's chalk, though. If you want to pivot to Westbrook at lower ownership, I don't mind that at all. Obviously, Murray probably the safer of the two. We project him for 5 more minutes, but both these guys could go off night to night. Michael Porter Jr. has actually been shooting pretty poorly in this absence of Joker, but he could very quickly turn that around. We've seen him spike massive upside this season. So I like all these guys here. Gordon, probably my favorite. Murray, Porter, Westbrook, DeAndre Jordan, if he starts. Another team we got to love. Great matchup here against Chicago. Jayhawk, how you handle the Nuggets?
Yeah, so obviously love love the Nuggets here against Chicago. No Jokic, Jamal the cash game play here. I think for a good reason. 8,100, great matchup. So obviously love Jamal. But in tournaments, you nailed it. DeAndre Jordan, I don't want to talk about him. So 3K flat. I have him projected as the top value play on the slate if the slate started right now, which is kind of not what the field thinking. But I think at 3K, if he does start, I'm gonna have trouble getting away from him. Now, if he doesn't start, I think we should definitely get off. But model has him for 22 minutes. I think he could play way more than that if he's playing well. So we'll have to see. My prediction, if he does start, is I think he should play around 30 if Vooch plays around 30, but we'll have to see.
Yep.
I do love MPJ in tournaments as well. He's been up and down, but this is a great matchup for him to shoot good. So mixing in MPJ and then Christian Brown, he was projecting better for me earlier, but not getting as much anymore. Mainly just Jordan, MPJ, and maybe some Gordon as well. But I think this entire team looks great in tournaments.
Yep, man. Totally with you. Again, keep it on the starting lineup. Russ would come off the bench if Jordan starts. Still don't mind getting to Russ, though. I do think he's pretty appealing given his price and upside. So quick look at the chat, guys, and then we will get to these FanDuel games. Yeah, AD, we just heard he's going to be limited to around 28 minutes. Makes it a little bit more interesting. Still don't think I'm going to get there personally. Power saying Sabonis is in. Yeah, that's going to cut into the rest of Sacramento. Very quickly for you, Jose, I got you. Anthony Black here. We got him at 24 minutes currently. Makovich or Jameson Battle. I definitely prefer Makovich, MD. Jayhawk, you with me on that one?
Yeah, definitely Makovich, how do you pronounce it?
And Power schooling me on the Bagley brothers here. It's Marcus Marvin's brother, was lottery pick, left college because he was arguing with his coach because of his behavior and tweets, fumbled the bag. Okay, so he's getting a second chance. If it was Marvin, I'd be more concerned about him getting minutes. Since it's Marcus, maybe not so much. And yeah, MD, we touched on him quickly. Buzelis is fine, but that 30-point game definitely feels like kind of an outlier. Landon top FanDuel cash plays really quick. Definitely Alvarado, Giannis, Hawkins, Murray, Olynyk. Those are the few I'll give you as a core. Speaking of Giannis, and then Eli, I see your question here. I'm leaning MPJ right now, but if Edwards is out, I'd go Randall.
Yep,
Same for you, Jayhawk? Or
exactly what I was going to say. Yep.
yeah, Edwards definitely matters for that one. But we got these two late games on FanDuel. Going to go through quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to combine the two teams into one quick conversation. So on the Milwaukee side of things, no Dame Lillard. Obviously, that matters. And Bobby Portis is out because he does steroids. Gary Trent's probable. Giannis is probable. So I said on the last stream, I was like, I know Rollins outplayed Porter, but I think maybe we overreacted. And sure enough, Rollins stunk and Porter got there. And I think it's going to continue to be Porter is the better guard play, even coming off the bench. It's tough to sit here and say that because night to night it can fluctuate. But looking at the ownership, neither is super popular. No one's really getting to Rollins. Porter only 10% owned. I think if you're playing either, I do like Porter for the upside, but there is a case to be made for Rollins at really low ownership. The smash play here, though, is Giannis. Obviously, no Dame, he's going to look really good. Lopez, fine in tournaments as well. And then over on the Phoenix side of things, still no Bradley Beal. I mentioned Ryan Dunn last time as like a really sneaky tournament play. I think he got there. So pretty proud of that one. But yeah, Nick Richards, Mason Plumlee, both available. Yeah, Tyus Jones probably going to come off the bench behind Colin Gillespie, which is unfortunate. Gillespie finally putting up decent numbers, though. I don't mind mixing him in, but we have him capped around 20 minutes. I think the two plays we're most interested in here are probably going to be Booker and Durant. But again, I like mixing in some Ryan Dunn, even with the price increase. You can make a case for maybe Royce O'Neal or Tyus Jones off the bench, but Gillespie himself starting to look like a decent play as his fantasy point per minute rate ticks up. Maybe safer than the guards from Milwaukee if you don't want to pick between the two. Field's not getting to much of them, though. Giannis, the core play from this game. Jayhawk, real quick, just touch on both of these teams and if you'd be getting to much if you're over on FanDuel.
Yeah, so pretty much be honest, like you noted, core play on FanDuel, and then between KPJ and Rollins, KPJ had the better game last game, but Rollins probably comes in under owned because it's such a bad game last game. So I actually do prefer Rollins for the 10% discount, but they're both fine to just mix in.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. I do think KBJ is like the better player straight up and like a better point per minute, but Rollins is going to continue to be the starter. So night to night, I don't know that we have enough sample to say that with any sort of confidence. But going into the first game with Dame out, I did say I like KPJ. Of course, that was when Rollins went off, and then Rollins was 50% owned, burnt everybody, and now everyone's like, let's just not play either. So you can make a case for either of these guys, but again, Giannis really the one core play from that game. The other late game here, we got the Celtics taking on the Sacramento Kings. I think it was Power who just mentioned Sabonis is back and available. Going to cut into the upside for all of these guys. I think was it Monk or Levine? Someone missed last time too. So again, it's the team that's getting healthy on the Sacramento side. I can't really prioritize anything there. It looks like Monk and Sabonis were questionable. Sounds like maybe they're both in. If Monk's out, obviously would boost guys like DeRozan, maybe Levine, Keon Ellis if he starts coming off a really good game could get to him a little bit as well. On the Boston side, seems like Jaylen Brown could be back tonight. Nothing official yet. No Al Horford though. Porzingis not even on the injury report, so he should be in and available. If Brown is out, then maybe we get back to Tatum. But Holiday's back, which is going to cut into White. If any of these other guys are ruled out, Pritchard's fine to mix in tournaments. But again, just the team is a little bit healthier than they have been lately. The model not really showing much here from either side of this one. Again, it's two teams that are healthier than they've been the past couple games. Jayhawk, quickly, how are you going to handle Boston and or Sacramento?
Yeah, so this game on FanDuel, I mean, everyone's like sub 10%. No one really like sticks out among the rest here. Maybe you could get to Tatum or Kristaps here, but I agree. This game is just not a game I'm like walking to get to.
Nice. And you're on Discord duty today? Double duty?
Yeah, we can make a dummy real quick though, if you want to.
Yeah, we'll do a quick dummy. Excuse me, burping, and then we'll get out of here. Okay, so what are we going to start with? I think Alvarado, right?
Yeah, Alvarado and or Hawkins, I think.
Yep, and we did just get word Anthony Edwards is available as expected. Again, the hand injury is not going to keep him out of a game. Okay, so we got Alvarado, we got Hawkins, two of the best value plays for sure. Where are we going next? Let's see. Looking at ownership, what's chalk? What's good chalk? I mean, we got Murray, Giddy. Might be fun to run both of them. I mean, we got a lot to like for Philly. Obviously, still waiting on that starting lineup. It sounds like we both like Edwards, though, right?
Yeah, Edwards is very solid for sure.
And then, how do we want to handle that Denver game?
I think Giddy for sure is a core play for me, so let's go ahead and plug Giddy in and Jamal.
I'm with it. Yeah, love that he has forward eligibility too. So,
Yeah,
plenty of ways to build with that. Um, if Jordan starts, he's probably our center. But if he
yeah,
doesn't, we're gonna need to pivot. So, guys, just take this with a grain of salt. If DeAndre Jordan isn't starting, maybe don't keep him in, obviously. But for now, we'll put him in. The 3K flat as the starter would be a no brainer, honestly. What else are we looking at? We got an 8K per player. I mean, we got a lot of ways to go.
hmm Paulo's obviously really solid up top for power forward. Kelly Olynyk,
Oh,
yeah, Kelly Olynyk also really good play at power forward.
boom. I'm with you, man. And then we got 8,800. We are left with Reeves. Probably don't want to play him with Luca and LeBron in. I mean, Barnes, the minutes are kind of iffy. I don't hate Hallie.
Mhm.
I don't know. We could do what you were maybe go down from Paulo to Franz, right? Let's see where that lands us. The issue is Franz does not have power forward eligibility.
We can move. Well, no, we can't. We can
Well,
move
that gives us.
Olynyk to power forward, and
Oh,
then
that's true too.
forward.
Yeah. Now we're cooking.
There we go.
Okay. Now we're cooking. Now we got Franz. And again, guys, definitely keep an eye on starting lineups. Obviously, we have most of the injury news. I mean, Ant looks good. Now we're getting to Ant.
Yeah, and then one more thing to address with Jordan. He is on a back to back. Did you have any concerns about minutes for him tonight?
Honestly, no, just because this guy hasn't played all season.
Yeah,
Like, I'm going through the game logs here. Like, I don't know. Obviously, he's old. Like, he played 16 against Dallas, 23 against Houston on a back to back. It's hard to find these games. 20 against Boston, 23 against the Clippers. Again, we have him for what, like 22? Like
yeah,
if he's going to play what we're projecting him for, he's one of the best value plays on the slate. And obviously, I would be concerned if he was a guy who played every night, but this guy barely plays basketball anymore. I think if he's ever going to play back to back, it's tonight. And again, if he's starting, we know he's in. So I think they want his size in there against Vooch. And again, just looking at value, still the top DK value play on the slate. Again, Okiki, another one we could have slid in there. Just make sure he is starting. And then on FanDuel, he's up there. And shouts out to Downton and his family here. Van Negro Jones rating is the second or tied with Jordan as the best value play on the slate. So if you talk to him, let him know, man. Occupy's definitely got love for him. Any last second questions here before we get out of here? Um, Last game, so it's tough for Jordan. My second big line, I'm leaving enough room to pivot to Najee or Saric. Yeah, man, I honestly think it would be more likely that they go Russ at the 2 and then just go Gordon at the 5 um,
Yeah.
over going to Najee or Sarge. So you almost need a 2 for 2 or to have 3 or 4 pieces of that game. Grayson Allen back tonight as well. I still think Ryan Dunn's going to start, but that is a good point. Jason Jordan probably cuts into those guys a little bit. Ant is in. Don saying, can we buy Wagner? We did get him in there. Carmen, appreciate you, brother. Fandigro, shouts out, man. Hopefully Down continues to crush. But yeah, we got Jayhawk in the Discord as soon as he catches his breath. Gonna get out of here now, guys. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Again, check the links in the description below. You can get access to the model, which we use throughout the video. We have a multi-lineup builder, access to the Discord, where Jayhawk's going to be in just a few minutes. Always available for Q&A there as well. So I'm going to continue to crush it all week, guys. Definitely appreciate you being here. See you at the top of the leaderboards. Take care and good luck.
See you guys. Peace.